I think looking at friends that you have that have good marriages or have solid guys and almost like kind of wiping the slate clean of that viewpoint of like there are no good guys and being like, okay, that might be a reality that I feel is true, but who are the men that I know that are actually good? Because
That's so good.
there's got to be a few. There's got to be at least one man that you know in the entirety of your life that you're like, that's a good guy.
Hello and welcome to the Christians Who Date podcast. I'm Andrea Alley and I am here from Austin, Texas.
I was wondering where you're going to go with
She's like
that.
reporting the weather.
Reporting live from Austin, Texas. We've got Kalli reporting live from Montana.
That's right. Here I am.
In
And
her
Lauren.
overalls.
Yeah, I just finished milking the cows.
Oh my gosh. I thought they were goats.
I would believe you.
Yes, you would.
And we have Lauren reporting from Los Angeles.
Hola.
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 Hola. Okay. Everyone who actually speaks Spanish is like, please stop.
I know.
Stop that.
I took 5 years and this is where it got me. Okay.
Wow. Well done. 5? Seriously, you took 5 years?
I took 5 years of Spanish. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Our systems, though, are kind of rough, but you can speak a lot because your grandpa speaks Spanish.
Yes. Yeah. There was a minute here where I was asking my grandpa to speak Spanish with me because even though he's this 90-year-old white man that does not look like he could speak a lick of Spanish, he grew up on the border of Texas and Mexico and he's fluent. Like,
yeah, he is very fluent.
Yeah.
Grandpa Fred.
It's hilarious.
I think he would like speak to you only in Spanish for a while, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
when you lived with him?
I asked him to do that, but sometimes he would get annoyed that I didn't understand and he'd get back to English. But
Oh, grandpa.
How can you not understand it now?
I'm like, because you didn't pass this down. This is on you.
I just remember we went to Tex-Mex with him and he like spoke to the he knew all the waitresses and he spoke to all of them in Spanish and then he ordered taquitos for us and I was so happy. So
Grandpa loves to take people out to eat. That is
to
one
wine
of
and
his
dine us.
favorite
Yes.
things. No, truly. Yeah.
I also got to experience that, and it was a real treat. It was an
Honestly,
experience.
I charmed the socks off of my grandpa.
Oh, I
It was so
believe
funny.
it. I believe it.
I had a good time.
Yeah, no, literally, Kalli told him the story of how we met. And then a couple days later, Kalli leaves, and I'm sitting at the dining room table having lunch with my whole family. And my grandpa's like, tell that story of how you and Kalli met. And I start to tell it, and he starts to correct me.
Oh my god. Cute.
And he's like, no, that's not how it happened. And I'm like, Grandpa, this was my life. Like, you just heard this secondhand from my friend.
He loves the story.
And then I think I finished telling it, and he was like, gosh, she tells it so much better.
Oh my
About
gosh.
Kalli?
We really bonded. We really did.
This is good. This is good. This is
It
good.
was very good.
So
Wow, I don't know
funny.
how we got on grandpa.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah.
Hola. Hola.
That was
'Cause
not in our notes.
I said, oh, wow, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There it is. There
Oh
it
my
is.
gosh.
Wait,
But-
Dre. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. No.
Cal.
I was
Yep.
going to say, Andrea has a story for us that we haven't heard. So, Andrea, we're ready whenever you are.
It's not even really a story. I told the girls that we were gonna have to start 15 minutes late, and I didn't tell them why, and I'm about to confess it.
I know why. Wait,
why?
Can Callie and I guess?
Sure, guess.
You were on a phone call with a guy from Hinge and it went over.
Nope.
Aww.
Colonoscopy.
Yes.
Kalli, how did you know?
Just had that look like you just
That time of year.
everybody get your ear.
Everyone get in there. So the real answer is that my roommate and I have been watching Severance. And we are
Oh
on
my
the
goodness.
season finale. We're on the finale, and I calculated it wrong. I thought if I got on 15 minutes late that we would have finished it, but I estimated it, and so actually I still have 30 minutes left. This is like the most intense, like, anyone who's watched this knows, like, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. Like, because the last 30, you have so many like loose ends that all are about to get tied up, but I'm just, interrupting it to talk about dating with you guys. But
Wow.
I know
we have been
nothing. I don't know
deep
what this
in
is.
this series. It's like the number one series on Apple TV right now.
My
What is it
brother
about?
is a big fan. And yeah.
Oh, Andrew is?
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. I don't even know, like, where do I
Yeah.
even begin? It's like an office dystopia kind of
Yeah.
show, and they just do a really good job of hooking you, because you're like, what is going on? And they keep dropping little clues, and you're like, what? And then you like have to keep watching to figure out like what is going on, basically.
So they're just catching your attention, and then
they're really good at that.
You're getting
Yeah.
bought in to the story.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because our house, we don't really watch a lot of TV shows. Like, we watch The Bachelor, but
As
we
you should.
don't. But everyone in our church life group has been watching this, and so we're like, okay, we got to see what everyone's talking about. And now we've basically. That's why I'm in a dating lull. I've been watching Severance with my roommate.
Wait, how many hours of Severance have you watched in the past like 2 weeks?
Oh gosh, I mean, we've watched 2 seasons, so. And they're all about like 45 minutes. I think there's 10 episodes. So I don't know, maybe close to like
15 hours?
Yeah, something like that. 15 to 20 hours.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, it's kind
part-time
of nice
job.
sometimes to just, it's like a vacation or something. You just like get fully like locked into the show.
And it's honestly good to hear of a good series, because most series suck. So
No, this one's really
Lauren.
good. And it has some stuff, but it's not like too bad. It does have some interesting themes, like religious themes, that make me feel like whoever created it like hates religion. So that part I'm kind of like, huh. But it's super interesting. Really good story for sure.
Okay.
So,
I'll look at the trailer. And that's as far as I'll get. You know me.
Well, and I will
Yes.
say, I think I wasn't really in it until maybe episode 4 or 5. And I think I even let Becca watch an episode without me.
It is a slow start. I watched the
Did
first
you start
episode
it? Okay.
like a year ago or something with
Oh,
Katie.
when it was like first. Okay.
And we fell asleep in the first episode. So
no, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's a little hard for me to like jump into it, but
It's for sure. I would say if you're not hooked by like maybe 4, definitely 5, give up. But
That's awesome.
But I think I let Becca watch the 3rd episode without me, because I was like, this is depressing. So anyway,
wow,
yeah,
very good.
that's my story.
Glad you have your
you caught us off guard. It's okay. Let me blow dry my hair. So and make a huge smoothie. So I felt really thankful.
Yeah. Great. I'm so
Very
glad.
good.
Lauren is holding. Wait, are you still holding it?
I'm almost done. Like, it's like the size of my face, and I've had most of it.
Gigantic smoothie.
I know, it's ridiculous, but I feel energized for this hour together with you all.
I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Well, should we get into it today?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people what we're talking about?
Oh gosh, for sure.
Oh
gosh. So we wanted to discuss this topic of we've all heard the phrase, we've probably said it at some point in our dating careers. That sounds really funny. But this idea of there are no good guys out there. We've heard people say this. So we want to talk about, where do we meet good people? Where do we meet the guys? Where do we meet guys that are dateable? Are there good guys out there? How do we find the good guys if they are out there? So we just want to talk about that. I know for me, living in LA, people are like, LA is like the worst place to date people. Like, there's no one to date. And I've heard that from people, or yeah, like they just think it's like the hardest place to find someone, even though it's like the biggest city. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to talk about that and share our thoughts of where do you find the good people? Are there good people out there? So
Yeah.
Andrea,
Yeah.
Kalli, you have anything to add?
Well, I was just going to say that I think everyone in every city says that.
Yeah.
Like, I have
Except
not.
you.
Well, and I feel like I only got here because I was like, wait, that can't be true. But I just feel like I hear that in, like, I hear people say that in LA. I hear them say it in like small towns, like it's like I think dating's just kind of hard. And and
Yep.
so that's our way of like expressing it, I guess. But
I literally had a friend today be like, I hate dating. And I was like, well,
oh,
you're not
yeah.
going to get married unless you date. So you
Yeah.
got to figure that out. I didn't say it like that.
Yeah, I think it's the grass is greener. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
The grass is greener mentality. But yeah, Kalli, what do
Yeah.
you think?
No, I like what you mentioned about whether you're in like a small town or a big town, people can say the same thing, but it's because there's different issues in either situation. If you're in like a small town, you just feel like there's no options. But if you're in a really big city, you're like, there's too many options and it's like overwhelming and you can like date all these people and like almost waste your time, it feels like.
Yeah.
But it's the reality is there are good people out there, but how do you find them? And like where do you
Yeah.
go to meet like where do you go to meet people? How are you creating friendships with people that could like essentially connect you with other people? So it's just about, I think, wherever you are, how can you be active? How can you ask to be set up? How can you go forward in trying to date people? So there's issues wherever you go, but how do you work through those issues? I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure. So I think our first question is, where do you find the good people?
Yes. Where do you meet good people?
Where do you meet good people to date?
Yes. And I think too, like we're gonna try to share stories that are not the dating apps, even though I'm a big like proponent, I guess, of the dating apps, because I just think it's like the best way to get exposed to a lot of options that these people have all signed up saying like, I am ready to date.
Yeah.
Because you can meet people out in the wild that are like not necessarily ready to date, or maybe they're not looking for anything, but it's like these people, they've all signed up to find somebody, and it's just the easiest way to like start dating and take the pressure off of dating, because it's just a date, like, you know, like it's everyone's going on them, it like way lowers the stakes. But we're going to try to give you some ideas like outside of the dating apps of how you can meet people, so, and how we've met people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, who wants to start?
Kalli?
I was gonna say, Lauren, you should dive in because mine is a little different slant.
Okay, for sure. I mean, I think it's like different in every season. In my 20s, it was more through school. So like ministry school or college or friends of friends. And then I think the older I got, I mean, in the 30s, the pool does get a little bit smaller, as in people are getting married. So,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
a real thing.
So it is, I have felt that the past couple of years. I'm about to be 36, and it's like, yeah, a lot of people around me are married. And so I do have an age range of who I want to date. I don't want to date super young. I go to a church that is mostly young families. So there's not many single people at my church. I know some people are like, go to church and find somebody. And I'm like, no, there's just not single eligible dudes I would date at my church. So it's like, where do you meet them? If church is a big part, at my gym, I can't date people at my gym because that's my job and I work remote. So it's like, what do I do? And so that's where I think I've had to like be open to being set up on dates. I've met friends of friends, like put myself in social spaces. Some of those dates have been through online, and then it's been just like being open and trying to have like a positive mindset, like that anything can happen. I think my mindset has changed towards men where I'm just like, no, there's like good guys out there. Like there's really good guys. And I think the way I've gone about treating men that I've met along the way is like, I haven't really met, now that I think about like quite a few of the guys that I have gone on dates with, I never first looked at them as like, oh, I'm going to try to date you. It would be more like, oh, you're like a cool guy. I just want to hang out with you.
Mm-hmm.
We would hang out, and then it would end up kind of like leading to a date. And so I think even my attitude of like, you're just a good person I really want to spend time with, or I want to get to know. And it's been through like hangouts with friends, or yeah, like one was when I was at a different gym. And so I think it was just like striking up conversations, building friendship, and that ended up leading to different things that ended up being dating. But it was more just because I had like a good like attitude towards them, and then that opened up opportunities. And so yeah, I was just thinking about the topic of like, I do have friends that have that attitude of like, they're no good guys. And I was like, oh, but you also kind of treat guys like they aren't good guys. Like, you know, like I've had some, right? It's like they really just expect the worst out of every single guy. And it's like, well, there's no perfect guy. And so, not that we allow people to treat us poorly or whatever, but I found like the more I'm like, no, there's like good people out there. For some reason, it has like more attracted overall pretty good people. So
yeah, that's a good point. Can you share some random places that you've met guys?
Yeah, I mean, like the gym, running. I met someone at an Easter party, like a rando mismatch Easter party. I've like been set up on blind dates, like yeah, like it just kind of like super random. And then of course online as well. And then others were just like through hangouts of friends. So very natural spaces that I was already doing in my life, and then it just kind of like happened. But
you came to visit me once, and a guy kind of liked you.
That's right.
I can't remember this person, but there you go.
Like I can't even keep track.
There's been so many.
The archives. Yeah, so I mean, there's like, I just think there's like so many ways. It was crazy too. Even yesterday, I was walking with a group of people, and we were talking about dating. Most of them were single. This is at my gym. And they're like, yeah, people are actually going back into like in real life dating. Like they're trying to date in real life these days. Like they're trying to go against the online dating and like meet people in person. And I was like, this is such a funny thing to hear. So
that's
anyways,
hilarious.
Like, yeah, that is wild. Can't even wrap my head around that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. So there you go. So what about you, Kalli?
Well, for me, I would say that it's been more of like, how do I meet good people instead of where specifically? Because I feel like I've gone to like the places you think of as someone who loves Jesus. You're like, okay, church, like small group, those kind of settings. And for the most part, I would say like for probably the first, like, I don't know, good chunk of my life, like that was my world. And I would say I actually didn't run into too many people that I wanted to date in those scenarios. It was a lot of like guys that I'm like, oh, they're just like a little like cheesy or awkward, like super sweet, but just not someone that I would want to date. And so if those were the only places I was looking, I was kind of getting like disheartened a little bit, because I'm like, these aren't really the kind of guys that I want to date, but these are the areas, or these are the places that I'm going to. But when I kind of shifted my mentality to just like really walking in confidence, walking in like what I wanted and what I was looking for and just being open and present with people, I feel like that's when I really saw the shift. So when I'd go to like the grocery store, when I'd run errands, when I would, you know, just be on my way somewhere, I was just a lot more open to people and just like starting conversation easily. And I think through that, I saw a lot more happen when I was just open to people and just wanting to engage with people. And because then, like, I would just have really like random moments of like talking to somebody, like, yeah, on my way to something and find out, oh, you're actually like, you go to church too, like crazy. Like, I wouldn't have just like, how do I put it? Not necessarily something I expected. And I don't know if we would have run into each other in another scenario, but I started having just a lot more, I guess the word's luck with people, just being fully myself, being open, talking and engaging with people. So if you are going to all the, right places of like, I'm going to church, I'm going to like places where Jesus loving people are, and that's not working for you, like I'd say just try to be intentional the places that you do go, or maybe try to expand your horizons a little bit. Like Lauren, you had mentioned like you are working remote, or you're like at the gym where you can't really like engage with people like that. So it's like, okay, like in those, if those are your normal scenarios, like where could you go like to like switch it up or something?
That's
but like
good,
you said,
Kalli.
you go running and you're like, oh, you've like met people that way. So
Yeah.
things like that, I've seen a lot of movement doing that.
Yeah.
Can I add something with that? I feel like I had to ask Andrea. Andrea, can I add something? I don't know why. I felt like that was like the teacher moment in me, or like teacher. I have a thing.
Absolutely.
Andrea was the teacher, so
can I go to the restroom?
I just have that vibe. Yeah.
That authority.
I know. I like literally was looking at Dre in the Zoom. Okay. Anyways, so I was just gonna add to that. I think sometimes you do need to just not in your lane, but I've had times where I'm like, no, I think I just need to be faithful to what's in front of me, even though there's no one at my church, there's no one at my gym, or like your spaces that you're going to in your rhythm of life. Sometimes I think you just be faithful to that. Sometimes I think you need to switch it all up. Like you need to like do things different. You need to change your patterns or your habits of like your schedule or your way. And so I think there's both, and that's hard because there's not one right answer for that for people. But I think you can get stuck in like the same routine. And it's like, well, if you're not meeting people, then maybe you're supposed to switch it up. Or there's times where it's like, no, I think I'm just supposed to trust God and just be faithful to my community that I'm in. You know? Because I know I've had people tell me, my parents, they're like, go to a different church then if there's no one at your church. Like, and I'm like, I don't want to go to other churches. I love my church. Like, no, I'm not going to go to random churches trying meeting dudes. Like, that's weird. But that's kind of their thing. But some people literally, maybe they need to go to a different church. Like, and that's okay. And so I think that's where like figuring out like what you need to do for yourself. And there's not a right or wrong answer to that. But I was just thinking about that when you're talking about that, Kalli.
Yeah. That's really good.
I loved too, Kalli, how you said you basically, it's not like you were like, oh, I'm going to open myself up to guys. It was like, I'm going to open myself up to the world. Like I'm just going to be more ready in general to engage in conversation, because I've even had a friend who, I was kind of like, oh yeah, like if we go to this church, like we can totally we'll just like start talking to some guys, or we were kind of joking about it, but she's like, how do you do that? And I was like, well, you just start talking to people in general. Like it's not like you're like, I'm only going to talk to a guy who I think is cute. Like, don't do it that way. Just be like, I'm going to talk to whoever's next to me. Because the more you get practice, just naturally starting up conversations with people around you and just opening yourself up to like honestly, it's like whoever God wants me to talk to today, you know,
Yeah.
like it might be a little old lady, it might be a cute guy, like who knows.
Yes.
Love the options.
But it's like you never know. I think, and yeah, I think there's been seasons in my life where I've maybe been more open to the world than others, but it is something that I think is it's just a good, honestly, I think they've shown like people who are like that, people who will like go around and engage and talk to people just in their community. My grandpa, again, is very much like that. They actually live longer because we're social creatures. Like we need that human interaction, and it's actually good for you to just keep being open to connection like that. So yeah, fascinating. But yeah, don't just be like, yeah, that's way too intimidating to be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna talk to like a cute guy. Like it's like that's probably the last person you're gonna want to talk to.
Oh,
but
yeah.
and I'm like, you don't walk into the room like waiting for a cute guy and smile at him. Walk into the room and smile at everybody that you make eye contact with. Like it's, you know, like it's like just, and then it's like, oh, she's chatting with everybody. Like you don't have to worry about like, oh, what's he gonna think? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like, is he gonna think that like he's getting special treatment? Like probably not if you're just being friendly and warm and conversational with everybody. So yeah.
And also when you're growing that skill, it makes it so much easier to be able to engage with guys and to be able to just be like, oh, okay, well, if I'm like this with everyone, yeah, it just eliminates that pressure of like, I have to go talk to this guy that I want to talk to. Yeah, it really helps.
Yeah. All of a sudden I have to change personalities so I can talk to this guy. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Andrea, what about you? Where do you meet good people?
Okay, while you guys were talking, I was like thinking of I was pulling up the archives. But I had two fun ones like last year. I met a guy in line at a coffee shop. He started talking to me, and then we ended up sitting down and having coffee on the spot. And we never dated, but we're still friends. So and also I was at my uncle's house.
I was hoping you'd share this story. I was thinking of this story because I was like, this is a perfect example.
Such a good one.
I was at my uncle's house, and we literally had like, if anyone grew up watching Home Improvement, where he like goes outside and talks to his neighbor over the fence, like that's what we were doing. And his neighbor's son came out and started talking, and we ended up going on a few dates.
But how did he get your number?
He had to get my number through my uncle. So he did take some initiative to make contact, which is great. He didn't get my number on the spot.
Exactly.
But yeah. I was impressed. I was like, okay, let's go. Like this is great. This is what should be happening.
Yeah. Old school.
That was a fun one. Old school.
People are going back to the old days.
Dude, they are. I'm for it. I met someone at a wedding once. Have you guys ever met anyone at a wedding?
No, but I remember this. Wait, what happened to that person?
I was
Callie
there. Got to witness it. He was like was he a waiter?
He was helping.
I love that we all know this. We're like, he was like a waiter.
Yeah. I don't think they had official waiters, but I think he like was volunteering basically. But yeah.
He was very taken with Andrea.
Wait, didn't you both get each other sick on a date? Or is that a different person?
He exposed me to COVID on a
date.
It. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, sorry, mister, for exposing you.
Yeah. Well, he will literally never listen to this. But
never
I'm not dropping his name though. I'm not as bold as you.
I know. I'm like, that person will never listen to this.
Like Chris Rice House.
But I will say, he went about this really well too. He was like, hey, do you want to like step outside and talk for a second?
That's cute.
Love it.
I loved that. It was whenever you can do that impromptu, like, let's just get to know each other a little bit and feel it out, you know, like why not? And then I think he asked me for my number or something after we had chatted for a little bit. So
That's very
he did
sweet.
a good job. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did.
Just anytime I think you can ask a girl to say yes to something really small, I think is a good move, you know,
Mhm.
like
Ooh, that was a good tip there, Dre.
that's a tip. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it would have been a little more nerve wracking to say yes to a date because I would have been like, I don't even know you, but I could easily say yes to, do you want to step outside and chat for a little bit? It was like, oh, yeah, of course. Because it's
Yeah.
like, if this goes bad, we'll just go back inside.
Go back
and
inside. Make it easy.
I'm sure Callie's on the dance floor right now because
right.
she never stops.
That's right. I was looking, I was like, Andrea's with that waiter right now. Okay, girl, get it.
I love it
Just
so
stand
much.
over here by myself till she gets back.
Yeah.
Just-
Wait, do you have any other stories before I have another question for us?
I was on a coffee shop roll there for a while.
She was.
I got asked out.
I mean, when
It's
are you
amazing.
not?
Yeah, no, I was
at
like,
a lot of coffee shops. It was kind of crazy. But
look
men
forward to
would
this
come
year.
up to me out of nowhere.
Love it.
I know. I need to I need to like brush up on my course that taught me how to like be more open. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of coffee shops, which is fun. So those are probably those are some of my best stories. If I think of another one, we can circle back. But Lauren, what's your question?
Yes. No, those are good stories, and I love those stories. And I could listen to them forever.
Great.
What
I want to hear.
what do we say to those in the audience? I love saying in the audience because I think it's funny. It's our moms, basically.
Yeah.
Our moms are behind, I feel like. It's
No.
My
like
mom is too.
it's
Totally.
like our like friends, our mutual friends, I feel like are the
Yes.
ones who are like the diehards. It's like
Keeping
they
it
know
alive.
multiple. Yeah.
Okay, so what would we say to those who say there are no good guys out there? They maybe not had dates in a while. They just are discouraged and like, no, there's no good guys. Like, there's no one to date. Like, what would we speak into their lives?
Good question.
Yeah.
I think looking at friends that you have that have good marriages or have solid guys and almost like kind of wiping the slate clean of that viewpoint of like there are no good guys and being like, okay, that might be a reality that I feel is true, but who are the men that I know that are actually good? Because
That's so good.
there's got to be a few. And if there are literally none, then yeah, that is an issue. But there's got to be, I'm telling you, there's got to be at least one man that you know in the entirety of your life that you're like, that's a good guy. And I
we've
would
had
say,
a couple on the podcast.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, we have. And I would say start making a list and like, what are the qualities about that guy that you think makes them a good guy? And just, I think retraining yourself to like notice those things or just to, I think, focus on that, it will help you to see through a different lens instead of the negativity and the like, oh, there's just a lack and a poverty mindset. It starts helping you feast on like, okay, there are like good guys, and even hearing maybe their stories of how they got together, because everybody's different and maybe it took them a while, but hey, she found a good guy. And so if that happened to her, like, why couldn't it happen to me? So it just reframes, I think, the way that you, kind of your belief system about men.
No, I think that's really good.
Yeah, that's really good.
What about you guys?
Dre?
Sorry, I'll edit this out later, but
You
it
good?
doesn't have the time. Do you guys have the
Mine
time
is.
on
Yeah,
here?
It's
it's 33.
33.
Oh, mine's not showing the time. That's so weird. Okay. Well, then you guys are in charge of making sure we don't go
Yeah,
super
2
long.
hours.
Yeah,
I
because
think
I'm like, I have no idea.
no, we're 33. We're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay. Yeah, what would I say? I think, well, there's a couple thoughts I had. I feel like a lot of what Kalli said, for sure. Once you switch your mind to look for good guys instead of, because you're going to be looking for whatever you already believe. So the more you're telling yourself there's no good guys, the more you're going to see that. The more you tell yourself there are good guys, the more your brain's going to start seeing the good guys. And Lauren's going to explain all the science of that. So
Yep.
just kidding.
She's going to have her charts out and
Yeah.
everything. The graphs.
But it is a real thing, cognitive bias. So yeah, once just to reiterate what Kalli said, for sure, I think that's true. And then I think I would also say, because like I've gone on a lot of dates in the last few months and none of them have worked out, but I think they were all good guys. Like none of them treated me like disrespectfully. Like I would say they all treated me well, and they didn't work out for different reasons, but they're going to be like, I wouldn't warn anybody about any of them. Like I felt like they were all like solid guys. So I think you can have the feeling of like there's no good options because maybe because you have a lot of things that you need, which I can relate to that. Like I'm like, it is hard for me to find someone like that I'm attracted to, that I also feel like has integrity, that we also like align enough in our values and like what we're looking for in life. And so I think that's probably where this like is really coming from, is it's like dating is just hard because you can only pick one person.
It's so hard.
Yeah, you can only pick one person. And honestly, you do need to be picky about some of those things. Like I wouldn't tell anyone like just throw half of that away,
Yeah.
like if it's your values or something like that. So yeah, like it's like I definitely get that. And then I think there's another element of it is if you're genuinely like seeing a pattern where you legitimately are only on dates with bad guys, that's probably a you thing that you maybe need to work out with like either a pastor or like a counselor or your friends, because there's an element in dating for sure where you kind of create or attract, like you can attract people based on what's going on inside of you. And so if you haven't looked at some of that, then you might legitimately be attracting the wrong guys. So that would be something to address.
Yeah.
If that's really true. But yeah, I think those are the two things that came to mind. But what about you, Lauren?
Yeah, I think that's good. I was just thinking about like, okay, we all are a mix of good and bad. Like we
Yes.
all are.
That's true.
And also like who, some of our people that we date, we can trigger different things that like it just doesn't work.
Yes,
like two magnets come together and it's like we do not connect,
Yep.
And you can be attracted to someone that is really not I've dated people who are not good, and I've dated people who are like really good for me, but then I'm not attracted to them. So like just to kind of say that of like I just think it's this idea of like knowing yourself really, really well and the values you stand for, I think can help in your dating process of kind of deciphering like who is good and bad for you. But I think the more I started to realize, like, I love what Kalli said about just like there are good men. I think you have to not have that idea of like, well, God doesn't care about me just because all these people around me have really good husbands or have really good healthy relationships or dating, whatever. And having like a positive mindset of like, if God can do that for them, God can do that for me. And I've really had to like fight comparison, or just fight like, how come I'm not chosen, instead of being like, no, I'm going to continue to like engage in dating and like lean in and be open to getting to know guys. And I think breaking that fantasy for me has been really helpful. It's been heartbreaking because I had this fantasy of who I was going to date and marry and be with. And I even dated who was my fantasy and ended up being like not the best for me. And so I kind of lost a dream of like, this is how my life is going to be and what it looks like. And realizing like God wanted to do a whole different story with like my dating and my my future marriage will be. But I think it's this idea of like, I could have let these different, maybe harder dating situations just be like, yeah, all guys suck. Like, They all
Yeah.
disappoint you, whatever.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, no, I believe like people have good hearts. Like there are good people out there. And yeah, I've dated guys that it just like wasn't a good match, but that doesn't mean they're bad people because of that, or there's no good guys just because they haven't matched with me, or because some of these guys haven't chosen to be with me. And I think that's
Right.
hard. Like I think some of my friends I've seen, like they're sad and they're like, guys suck because they weren't chosen by whoever they wanted to choose them. And that's hard.
Right. It is
That's
hard.
hard.
We've all been there.
We've all been
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Like you want to be the chosen one.
Totally.
Of like in different relationships. And so I think it's this idea of like, no, like there will be somebody. It's just like a matter of time, and dating is hard. And you might have to date a lot. Like literally you might have to date a lot
Yeah.
to be able to get to the right one. And that sucks to say, because I think people just hope like it's one and done. Like you just wait, you date, and then you marry. And some people that does happen that way. I'm not saying that it's not, but more likely than not, you are going to have to date a lot to figure out who you're compatible with. And so that means you have to engage in this, and you're going to meet some good guys and some bad guys along the way. But I think summing up that there's just no good guys is saying like there's no good women. Like there's plenty. I hear a lot of like my single girlfriends are like, there's so many good women, but what about the men?
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's good men out there. I totally believe it. And
yeah, I've said that before.
And then Christian women will say there's no good Christian men. And I'm like, well, then let's pray that men become good Christian men. Like, are we praying? Like, and I'm getting real Christian-y now, but I'm like, then let's pray for guys. Like, let's not complain about them. Like, let's actually build up men around us. And so even that's kind of changed my attitude of how I treat men, of like, even I'm not treating them as like potential, like, can I date you? I'm just like, how do I treat men well, that they are worthy of like being a man, that they're meant to be treated like a leader, that I want them to know Jesus, like in whatever capacity. And so it's like giving every guy dignity, because I want them actually to be like a good husband and a good father to whoever they date or marry. And so it's even becoming like bigger than just like, there's no good guys. It's like, well, then let's create good guys. Like, I don't know, you know? So I don't know. Those are some thoughts on my soapbox.
I love it. And I think it's so good, Lauren, and you like touched on this, but it's like, are we tearing men down or building them up? Like the ones that we interact with. And we've all shared stories about how we've had like some bad dating experiences, but we've given feedback, very kind, but like been like, hey, if you were to do this, it would improve your dating life and also give you some more like character maybe. And so it's just like, when we do interact with men, like, are we helping them as best we can? And, you know, same with women. Like it would just be nice if across the board, men and women tried to help each other in this and not just be like, ugh, let me just write this person off. But it's like, how can we help each other? How can we build each other up? Yeah, it would just be totally different than just like, ugh, all men suck or all women suck. It's like, no, we don't. Or we're all in different stages of these journeys. So how do we continue to move through it? Yeah,
That's good, Cal. I think culturally too, there's this like, I don't know, it's, you have to choose to not be like battle of the sexes, basically, like, because it's in culture, like, so we have to go against that, like, like we're not gonna bash men, you know, like we're even like when you're married, I have friends that have talked about like, my friend group makes an intentional choice that we're not gonna sit around and bash our husbands. Like we're not, you know, like we're gonna,
that's good.
So it's a real thing. I was gonna say too, I think for me, like the fantasy I had about dating and marriage was that somebody was gonna rescue me out of my crap so that I wouldn't have to deal with it. But instead, I think dating has forced me to work through a lot of my crap. And once you give up the idea that you're going to find someone that's going to make all of your weaknesses like not matter because they're going to come in with all these strengths. Like once you let that go and decide I'm just going to work on my weaknesses and I'm going to make them strengths, like it's going to be a lot better because your expectations are going to be in a better spot. Like it's, I don't know, this is even just, I feel
That's
like
really
life,
good.
this is life advice in general, is God is so much more invested in the process of you becoming more like him than he is in some kind of fantasy situation where a man comes in and rescues you out of process. Like it's like an example of that is like I think I always wanted to be with an extrovert because I was shy and I felt uncomfortable at parties and I didn't easily make friends or meet people. And so I wanted someone to do all of that for me. And instead, I've been single for years and I've decided to engage in the dating process. And that has forced me to get out of my comfort zone and interact with people and become more relational and outgoing. And as a result, like, honestly, I think I'm more attractive to the men that I do date because, you know, they can bring me to like a social situation and they don't have to worry that I'm going to just sit on the wall the whole time, you know, like it's like I'll start engaging with people because I've worked that muscle and it's become, you know, like a something that I can do now. So that's another thing I would say is stop waiting to be rescued and start working on yourself.
That's like
so good.
always our mantra every podcast lately.
It's true. It's
so
true.
real. It's so real. People just like want it to be like so easy and you just find your saving dude and life is easy peasy.
For sure.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Instead, I found Lauren and she forced me to be an extrovert.
And I don't know, me. I was going to say I'm becoming more introverted, but I don't think I am. No, I think I'm still extroverted.
I'm still trying to rub off on her.
Yeah. Trying to get her to journal.
Honestly, that's a good idea.
Wait, you have been doing some journaling that was helpful.
A little
right?
bit, but like I always need to do more.
All we know is that Andrea will marry a spirit-filled man through Lauren's journaling. That's all we know.
Journaling from 2023. That's all I care about.
Lauren is so invested.
I mean, it's a statement, so yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Any last thoughts, guys, to wrap it up?
That's a good one. I mean, I feel like we said a lot, but I do think there's something about like if we can just have belief that there are good people out there, you know, it's just so easy to be hard on one another. And like just because someone maybe you don't want to date, that doesn't mean they're not a good person and they're not right for someone else. And then if just because a good person maybe doesn't date you doesn't mean that they suck. You know, like and it's just like I think the more that we can build up men and like men can build up women, like it's just like you're gonna work better together. And yeah, I just think it's so much more than just like getting a date from someone or getting someone to be your partner. Like, you know, and I want to believe there like God is moving in men's hearts, like in building up healthy marriages, because I see it around me. Like I'm actually like blessed to be around like a lot of good healthy marriages, so it gives me a lot of hope actually. But if you just like hold that thing of like God doesn't care about me, which I have to move through this all the time, but being like, no, God has something good for me too. Like I'm gonna believe he has a good story from my life, and I'm gonna hold on to that, and I'm also gonna like trust because I see him moving in other places, other lives. That's like, okay, there definitely is hope for that. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Abby Stumval says you're making assumptions either way, so you may as well make assumptions in your favor. So
I like it.
Yeah, like if you're gonna assume, because that's a pretty big assumption that there's no good guys out there.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna make an assumption like that, you may as well swing it the other way and assume that they are out there, because that's going to help you emotionally to just be more hopeful. And B, you're probably going to start seeing it. So I would homework, write down your assumptions or your beliefs and challenge those and ask yourself, is that really true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lauren already said this, but just pray. Pray that
So good.
that there would be that the Lord would raise up good men, and also that the Lord would just start like connecting you. Like he's the ultimate orchestrator, so he can do anything. And we need prayer, they need prayer, everybody needs it. So
lay your hand on yourself.
Don't resort to prayer as the last option. Like go there first. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I had one thought and then I forgot what it was.
Is this your new microphone, by the way?
Yes, it's
Sounds
new.
phenom.
Thank you. I got a new microphone, everyone.
We're proud of you.
Goodness.
So proud.
Thank goodness. Okay, that thought, I'm sure it was about Henry Cloud or something, but it flew out of my
I mean, you quoted Abby Stumble, whom I love, so I really appreciated
we
that
are
quote.
big fans.
Big
The Connected Life. The Connected Life.
Yeah, the
best
Connected
podcast.
Life.
It is.
Plug.
Better than ours,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
or equal. Equal.
Yeah, it's better.
I mean,
It's better.
we're funny though.
They're funny.
They're also very, very funny.
They're very funny. Actually, I haven't listened to them in a while.
They're funny too.
I
That
need
made
to go back.
made it sound like I don't think they're funny, but I was just trying to highlight one of my
like, but listen, we're funny.
We're funny. Okay?
But we are funny. I'm like,
And so are they.
They're like deep and will make you cry your eyes out like a counseling session. But
So good.
and that's maybe not what we're doing, but we're funny.
We do cry sometimes on this podcast.
That's true. Yeah,
Yes.
one of us.
Yeah.
Wait, have you cried on the podcast, Lauren?
Yeah,
Lauren
totally. Yeah.
Have you,
I've gotten
Kalli?
emotional.
I don't think I have.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
well, there's time.
Yeah, there's lots of time.
We got plenty of time. I don't want to see Kalli cry or I'll start crying. So it's for the best.
Yeah, that's true.
If any of you all cry, I
too.
cry. So it's just I can't handle it.
We have all left crying voice notes before on the text thread.
That's a confession.
It is rough every time listening.
If you all cry, it's the worst thing
We all
ever.
start sympathetic crying, listening to each other's voice notes.
Can't help
and I'm
it.
like on Southwest, like booking a flight out there immediately. I'm like, I'm coming.
Yeah, it's for the best.
Yeah.
So I'll cry more so you can come to me.
Yeah,
Good.
I know. I need to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We love you, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.